This playthrough is rated T for teen.
Do we have time enough to beat Cris's Tales, this tale of time and tearing too? Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare here with a Let's Finish This, and this time it's Cris's Tales by, what's the company? I'm not sure which one's the producer or publisher and stuff like that, but Dreams Uncorporated, Syck, moves, man, and Modus. It's an RPG based on the popularity of, or it's inspired by, like, apparently Chrono Trigger and Valkyrie Profile and Final Fantasy VI and, like, other Final Fantasy games like that, apparently. And you can kind of see that over the course of this game, the inspiration for it while playing it. I put a little bit of time into this, probably more than I should have, because I was trying to trophy achievement hunt, which I probably didn't really need to do, but it didn't take me that long to do it, I think, personally. Well, actually, there was like one or two of them that were kind of took a little bit out of my time, but roughly I tried to get through this as quickly as I could. Yeah, you play this girl as, well, obviously, if you haven't played this game before, this video is going to be a whole lot of spoilers. We're at the final area of the game, and as soon as we open up that gate, like right in the back there, we're encountering the final boss. So yeah, no major, well, I guess there are technically major dungeons, but they're split up into 4 different ones. Those big old doors in the background were 4 dungeons where we fought about 4 people that we'd met along our journey, and we all convinced all of them to not fight us anymore after beating the crap out of them, because that's how it is in most games. And then we got all our allies in the back, and some of them that joined us for the final bit weren't really that pushed as major characters, yet when we introduced them to help us, they're like, oh, these characters. I'm like, okay.
King? Looks good so far. Yes! The barrier should be down!
So yeah, as soon as we do all that, we open up the barrier and we fight the final boss of the game, who isn't what we thought originally. So this game does the whole, you know, like most Final Fantasy games, it gives you a different boss than what you thought was at the very beginning of the game. And like, I'm trying to remember how many Final Fantasies did that. Like, quite a few of them did the whole, he's not the real boss, this is the real boss. And it's usually like right at the last chapter or something like that. You're like, oh, well, that was unexpected, I guess. But when you do it so many times, is it really that unexpected?
It's advanced technology from 3,000 years ago. Should be is the best I can do.
Good enough for me. Now we can finally go confront Ardo. Come on. We have to stop him before it's too late.
So Ardo is the final villain, but originally for the longest time we were chasing after the Time Empress, who obviously, the thing is, the game tries to almost make it feel like we should feel sympathy for her, yet this is the same lady who, like, almost destroyed the world multiple times and all this other stuff. And I mean, there's a story explanation for it, and maybe they'll talk about it before, but here's my final setup. I don't know if this is the best party for this, but I'm going to use it because, okay, so we got Cris Bell, who's the main hero, who starts off as this like orphanage girl who picks flowers every day, and she picks up a magical sword and some watery tart that threw at her, and all of a sudden they call her king. No, but there is some weird stuff going on there. But yeah, she grabs the sword. All of a sudden, she knows how to fight as soon as she grabs the sword, which they don't even give an explanation for that till like near the end of the game, and even then they don't do a very good explanation. Then we got JKR721. He is a, I think they call him a witness in this game, but basically he's a robot, but looks like a Bishonen anime dude, because why not? And he was he was one of the bosses in one of the final dungeons, but we beat him. He joined our team. Just as easy as that. We just easily convinced him after beating the crap out of him to join our team, because that's what solves the world's problems: violence. I know, I make fun, but then we've got Christopher, who's the first guy to join your team. At first he's kind of the edgelord, I fight everyone, and then he softens up over the course of the game. And then we got Kari Hudo. She used to be a villain. Then the main character used her time magic to revert her back to a child, so she could, so that way she forgot that she was a horrible villain at the time. So now it makes her completely innocent of everything, because that's just how you solve it. You just use magic, fix all your problems. And she basically captures people's souls to use them in combat. I don't really use her that much. And then we got Zaz, the most hated character ever. No, seriously, I hate this character. Like, she's supposed to be the comic relief character, you know, kind of similar to like a Riku, or not Riku, what's the girl's name from Final Fantasy X? I thought her name was Riku. I know Riku is a character from Kingdom Hearts, but Well, anyway, the girl from Final Fantasy II is the thief character. She's supposed to be similar to like that, where she's supposed to be like the hyperactive, but silly, maybe similar to like Kate Sith from Final Fantasy VII, where she has like weird gimmicks to her like combat style, and she's supposed to be the one that like does lighthearted things, but she's like obnoxious. Like seriously, like there'll be like a super serious scene, and then she'll say like some stupid joke, or she'll over-explain the joke. And my favorite phrase during this whole game, like whenever she talked in combat, was "Shut up, Zaz." I kept saying that every time she talked. And there was one time where someone actually says that, something similar to that to her, and she pipes down because she was being too goofy for a scene. And I guess the idea, I think they explained that it's supposed to be a defense mechanism, but she's obnoxious. I hate her. And even though she's actually kind of powerful in combat, I'm not using her. So this is my final build. I don't know. I'm almost thinking about maybe getting rid of the. I was thinking about maybe using amber rings because there's regeneration, because the final boss can do quite a bit of damage. But I do have an ability that restores, that automatically gives regeneration to characters anyway, so I'll probably stick with that. But dark steel wrist guards, these are pretty powerful. In the game, like, you get most of these from the treasure chests, and so this is one of those games where money almost has no point after a certain part of the game. Like, there's no really good in-game purchasing. At first it seems like there is, because you go to shops early in the game that they'll have like a really high price, and you're like, man, how am I supposed to buy that at this point in the game? But then at some point you go back to later areas, so there's a lot of backtracking in this, and you buy them later. But most treasure chests give you most of this stuff, so the only time you really use your money is to upgrade your weapons, and that doesn't take very much at all. But anyway, this is what I got for Crisbell. Oh, I got her equipped on the piercing keychain, although she's probably not going to be attacking very much, because weirdly enough, for being the main character, she's not combat focused. She's more of a support character in combat, weirdly enough, which is a first. I think because usually most main characters usually end up being like the heaviest hitters out of all of them, or at least the most balanced. But yeah, I almost hardly ever use her for straight combat unless there's nothing for her to do. JKR is your melee bruiser for the most part, although he has got a weird game mechanic that makes it hard to utilize him effectively sometimes. But yeah, this is the build that I have for him. I gave him mainly the Sure Step sandals to improve his attack bonuses. And since he doesn't use hardly any, I mean, he has magic, but it's like so weak, it's like not even pointless. Or it's pointless to use that. And then we've got Christopher. I'm going to use him. This is his build. I gave him the Ancient Gauntlets. It's kind of tough to decide who to give this to, because it's probably the best item in the game if you don't use Cristabel's or Crisbell's time crystal manipulation. If you don't, then this is a really good item because it raises all of your stats by like 80. It's crazy. But every time you use a time crystal in a battle, it reduces it by half. But even then, that's still a good item. So. And I gave everyone with salt necklaces because I believe the final boss is the burnt status, which is one of the more annoying statuses next to poison, but poison shouldn't be a big deal in this. Gave him the sorcerer's handle so he can increase his magic attack by a crap ton. So he should be doing a lot of damage with his magic. And then Claire Signet and the dark steel ring. And everyone's at like mid-30s. I probably went a little overboard with grinding, mainly not because of difficulty, but I was trying to trophy hunt, and it required me fighting like a bunch of random battles to try and do certain effects or fight certain enemies, and I end up just gaining levels as a course of that. And this is one of those annoying games where if a character is not in your group, they don't gain any experience at all, so that's kind of a downfall for this game. That they don't even give them like a quarter of experience or something like that, or maybe 10%, at least give them something. They don't get nothing. You have to put them in the group. So I wish they had a magic item that you could equip to someone to give them like half experience for being out of combat, but they never did that. So this is one of those weird games where I feel like the game is like was put on fast forward mode. Like it briefly goes past through major story scenes, I felt like, and then like it wasn't fleshed out enough. Like there's a lot of stuff they could have done to fix it, but they never did.
Chris and everyone, I think we've done what we can. Now it's up to you guys. We believe in you.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like this game, despite how much time I put in, I felt like someone just, like, they didn't want to flesh out certain scenes. Oh yeah, this is the merchant if you want to buy any last minute stuff. You'll probably have plenty of money by this point to just buy, like, the heal everything ability, which is basically the elixir. So you can just buy a bunch of elixirs. I probably have more than enough anyway, but And maybe if you don't have basalt things, maybe buy some anti-burn. I don't think he has any anti-burn here. I think you have to go to another town for that. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Oh, he doesn't have burn here for some reason. That's weird. I guess you'd have to go to another place to buy that, like another town. But anyway, that's the merchant you run across in dungeons. I guess I'll talk more about this stuff when we beat the game, so let's talk to this dude.
Defeat this Ardo person. Please. For Master Wilhelm.
Wilhelm was actually, for spoilers, Wilhelm was a character that joined our team, but he got killed about maybe about halfway through the game.
It's up to you all now. You saved Cinder from a tragic fate, so I have faith you'll be able to defeat this Ardo.
Yeah, most of these people, because Ardo just popped up out of nowhere like a gosh darn jack-in-the-box, like no one knows really who he is.
Well, CrisTales, it's been a long, hard journey for you. It seems like you were a little girl just last week, and here you are, about to save the world. I pray you'll fulfill your destiny.
Yeah, her destiny of becoming the Time Empress. Yeah, another twist is that she was the villain of the game, well, until Ardo popped up. So when the villain did the role of like, we're like you and I, and the main character goes, no, we're not. And she goes, yes, you are. You're me. I'm you from the future, you know? So I thought that was one of the few funny things in the game that I enjoyed. But I don't know. I guess I'll talk about it when we get to the credits. But we're about to attack Ardo. So that's it. That's him right here in just weird colored room.
CrisTales? How did you get in here? Don't tell me you managed to disable all the generators.
Ardo, we need to talk.
She was about to call him Matthias. Matthias was this frog companion that followed you throughout most of the game. And he was the typical, like, cute companion that told you, like, how to do things or helped you out. And then all of a sudden, he's actually the villain the whole time. So it was one of those things when he joined the group, I had, like, a weird feeling about him. I was like, you know what? I bet he's going to be a villain. Or he's got to do some weird twist and like that. And when it happened, I was like, yep.
The time for that is long past, I'm afraid. And JKR, is that you?
It is.
What are you doing here?
That is a question I have asked myself often over the millennia. Now, however, is not the time to discuss it. You must listen to CrisTales, Ardo. She does not wish to cause any more harm to you.
There is nothing to discuss. The resurrection of my people is at hand. Now, however, it is being delayed by you lot. I generally prefer not to get my hands dirty with this sort of thing, but it appears I'll have to make an exception.
Alright, boss time against him. Yeah, JKR is one of the witnesses who used to be... Ardo basically was part of a race of people called the Rene or whatever before humanity populated, but early versions of humanity basically ended up slaughtering all of them. So he basically bided his time till he could bring the Rene back to existence by doing a... Basically wants to distort space and time around the planet itself to a period of time where the Rene, or I think it's the Rene anyway, Rena or whatever, to where they were alive. And so that would end up with, like, the death of, like, almost every human on the planet if he did something like that. So obviously that's why we're stopping him. So it's one of those, it's a legit reason because humans screwed him over. You know, typical RPG, like the humans are bad guys, but there's a couple of good ones. You know, that type of thing. But anyway, we're fighting Ardo. So what do I want to do? What I want to do during this fight is I want to kill myself. Now, why am I doing this? Well, there's actually a... let's see if I can... I wonder if you can even hit yourself with your spells. Yeah, I can. Okay. There's actually a unique ending where you get if you purposely fail to kill her. That's how powerful CrisTales is. He almost killed the party himself. This is really messed up when you think about it. So, actually, we're soaked now, so I could actually lightning nexus myself to do more damage. Because Ardo might take a hot minute to kill me, so... Are you gonna actually hit me with any magic? Oh, I can't even hurt myself now that you've stunned me. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's attack myself. That should be enough damage. Oh, did he mute me or something? I'm trying to kill myself here. Okay. I can't even attack myself anymore. For some reason, he stopped me from doing that. Alright. Fine. I'll wait till you use, like, one of your actions or attack magics or to whatever to kill me. Right, there we go. Okay. So if you purposely lose, unlike before, most times in the game, it'll just say defeat. But there's a unique screen that pops up if you die.
No, 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 no! We've come so far. We did so much. This isn't fair.
Oh, one down, Chris Bell. This isn't fair. Man, this is like this whole game. This game is weird when it comes to like the tone of the story. Like they design the game to be cute and everything, then they try to have this like super serious, mature plot underneath. But I think it almost like the fact it's super cute, kind of almost like the whole. I guess it's supposed to subvert the idea of that it just looks good from the outside, but on the inside there's a lot of problems in the world. But I don't know, just the too cute design just makes it hard to like really get into that concept of it. I wouldn't say it had to be gritty, but maybe if the characters are more realistic looking. Like most of the character designs in this game are like way too pretty. Like I like them, but they're like way too pretty for something that's trying to be a bit more realistic. You know, they had different design characters or whatever, but yeah, whatever, it's the art style. But anyway, so if we find another way, we keep fighting, and I think we just reset the fight, or we could give up. She's like, no, this isn't fair. We have to keep fighting. Yeah, I give up.
I see. She was right all along. I have to do it. I have to go back in time. I'll do it right this time. I'll make sure the ruins are destroyed. It's the only way to end this.
Crisbell, what are you saying? What are you going to do?
I have to go back. Don't you see? I've done it before. Matthias, Ardo showed me where the machine is. I'm sure Audrey can figure out the rest.
You've done it before. Is that how you learned about the Empress's true intentions?
It was just a short jump before, but this one will be much bigger. I think I can do it. I have to do it. I'm sorry, everyone. I've made a huge mess of things. We stopped the wrong person. We've lost everything. There's no other choice. I have to go back. I have to become everything I hate.
So basically, this ending, the bad ending, is basically the self-fulfilling prophecy where you end up basically becoming the Empress again to defeat Ardo. So you basically become the villain. What does they say about living long enough to see yourself become the villain?
Hello, Wilhelm.
Well, that was just a short cutscene and then the end. Okay. Well, basically, she went back in time to meet Wilhelm, and basically she's doing the Time Empress's storyline all over again. So to get back to this point, and then the way that the story explained it, like every 1,000 years, the Empress gets reborn again to fight Ardo, or no, she gets reborn by going back in time. But if she goes back in time too much, she splits herself off and turns like herself into the Empress. But then there's another version of herself, which is Crisbell or whoever it is at the time, and that's it. So can we actually skip the ending, or do I have to actually watch the credits? Oh no, I have to actually watch the credits. Whoops. Ah! I didn't mean to. I'll have to cut that out. Cut that little bit out there. So whoops. Actually, I might just block that whole part off. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it's just the self-fulfilling prophecy ending. So we're probably gonna see these credits again anyway when I beat the game. So I'm gonna cut it to when I get back to the fight, because we'll see these exact same credits when we beat the game. So I'll see y'all in a second. Okay, we're back at the final boss again after cutting through the credits there, so let's actually beat Ardo with the legit way this time. So JKR, his thing is he doesn't use mana in the game, so you never have to restore it, but he uses a heat gauge. So every time he uses certain actions or takes damage, he builds up the heat gauge, and if it hits 100, if he hits 100 while he's attacking someone, he releases his gauge to possibly burn the victim, but he'll take damage himself. Or if he takes damage while he's out of or not in a like physical engagement, like if he takes too much regular damage, he'll explode and hurt all of your allies. And there's actually a trophy for getting purposely killed by JKR's blast. Easiest way to do it is when you fight the Empress for the first time. Actually, Ardo has an ability like that too, where he can turn your HP into 1. And that would be enough damage to make JKR explode. So that's one of the problems with maybe bringing him in this fight, is the possibility of him doing that. So one way is to do it is just basically attack and then coolant, which is basically releases his heat. So you have to kind of decide when you want to like attack. So, and usually he'll attack 3 times. I don't know if you have to press a button to have him attack. I think you do. This game has Mario RPG. That attack halves your HP, by the way. This game has kind of Mario RPG mechanics where you can do things to possibly reduce, either get more damage through an attack or through defense to defend it. Now, from what I recall, this guy, you can only defend against a couple of his attacks. Most of them are non-defendable. So, anyway, so Christopher, weirdly enough, despite him being a shield, you think he'd be a tank. He's actually a magic user, and depending on how you build him, he's a really strong magic user. Like, I almost, after a certain point of the game, I stopped attacking with him completely and just build up his magic because there was no reason to use any of his physical attacks. Usually I just like using one of the 4 or the 3 main spells like these, but you could use unstable transposition for a little extra damage, but I just like using I like using pressurized streams because it's the easiest one to crit with for me personally. And I didn't crit it, even though I know how to crit with it. Well, that was pathetic. All right, yeah, like I said before, Crisbell is mainly a support attacker. Like, she can do these things called invoke crystals, which will change a character depending on where they are on the screen, because you've got either the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen. And if you're on the left side of the screen, you can invoke past, which will take your character to a past version of themselves. So, like, if they were like younger, for example. So if the villain has, actually, how many does he have multiple forms? So he does, sort of. So he has past, present, and future. So if you use the time crystal on the right side, it takes them to the future, and their stats might adjust and change, or they'll look different, or maybe they have different weaknesses or strengths or whatever. Weirdly enough, about halfway through the game, I stopped using the crystal ability because I got so powerful at one point because of the items I was getting and just naturally just figuring out the game. I just stopped using that ability. I was able to beat things without manipulating the crystals, because sometimes you can make things worse for yourself if you do that, depending on who it is. So anyway, Criswell's abilities are like I said, support, healing, and she can also regress people to previous points of time. So if I wanted to, I could cast Regress on Christopher to restore his HP back to full, because that was what he was before the damage that happened to him, but I feel like it's not really necessary. What I want to do is I have to get a speed boost on everyone, because this is a broken ability that basically makes you ramp up your turns a lot faster. So I assume speed down is not useful on... actually, I figured I could have cooled on him. Oh well, I'll just use impact strikes. What this is if you press the X button in a certain area, you'll get damage, and if you have to press the X button, it's not just something that's automatic. You just attack the guy like multiple times. So now let's just keep using pressurized streams. I pressed it wrong again, even though I know how to do that. Man, I'm really bad at like timing. All right, now I want to get renovations, or whatever it's called. Oh, I thought it worked on everyone. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Regio Regen. So I can get Regen on everyone. Yeah, we'll go in Coolant since he's going to turn, because I don't know what he's going to do, so I don't want him to do a ton of damage and have JKR explode, you know. So he used magic on me. If I didn't parry it, it would have had a chance to paralyze me, but luckily I was able to make it, so. There we go. Now I actually got it. So yeah, I think Ardo has like 8,000 HP, so it is going to take a hot minute to get through. Actually, do I even have anything to do right now other than... I don't really... I don't think reduced speed works on him anyway. I think he's immune to it, but we'll see. Yeah, he's immune. Okay. Thought so, but I thought I'd try it anyway, so. I have plenty of like healing magic, and I have those mana potions or elixirs that'll completely heal my MP if it really comes down to it. So, actually, let me show you some. Well, actually, he's probably gonna cast most of the other spells on us anyway. So, so I'll just keep casting this until. So I've already done like 2,000 damage to him already. So, now it's like we're almost out of our speed boost. Might as well just cast it again to reset it. So. Why not? Like I said, I'm almost never going to have Crispell attack unless I just don't want to. Okay, so he's using time compression. What that does is it completely... it reduces us to 1 HP, basically. And yeah, if I didn't coolant, JKR would have exploded and we would have died. So, so I'll probably just regular heal after that. I was going to... If I didn't have regen on us, I would have regressed. And that would have restored us to full. I would have just done Regio Regress or whatever it was, but because I had regen, it automatically healed us, so I'll just keep casting Pressurized Streams. And I'll just have Crispell just rejuvenate. And he can do time compression quite often, so... yeah, let's just do Impact Strikes. I don't want to actually do my physical attack just in case he does time compression again or something like that. I don't do as much damage with impact strikes, but I didn't get a block off fast enough. Oh well. But luckily I have those basalt crystals, which would have, because I failed it, I would have gotten the burn status, which would have caused me to take, I think, burning in from his attack would have done like 300 damage to me per turn or something like that, so that would have been kind of heinous. So I think I should be able to do all 3 attacks with that. Yeah, then I can vent on my next turn. Yeah, let's just cast Regio again. Like I said, just to reset it. Oh yeah, my regen's out, so I need to cast that again. Yeah, not much to this fight, really. I mean, I noticed after, like I said, the beginning of the game is kind of difficult, at least pre-patched, because I played the game originally pre-patched, and I was having some trouble in the first dungeon because I was getting, like, no drops on anything, and I was taking a lot of damage, and the game didn't give me enough, actually, now since I don't have regen on me, I can just cast a Regio Regression on us and refill our HP. Well, if it's doing what it's supposed to do. Because sometimes when I do that, it won't do it. Like, there's been a few mess-ups in the game where it would, I would do it and it's supposed to heal me, but then it would still leave me at like 1 or whatever HP, and I'm like... So, this game weirdly has, like, a lot of glitches, and a lot of, like, odd glitching in it, I've noticed. Like, you know, certain attacks not working correctly, sometimes the game crashing. It doesn't happen often, but this game has a lot of, like I said, it could have used a bit more polish. Because there's, like I said, it's not the buggiest game I've ever had. It's just, it's a lot of sneakily hidden ones, if that makes sense. Yeah, I guess I can attack with everything. Actually does a decent amount of damage, I guess. Okay, I was able to get the parry off this time. Hooray! I'll probably regen next turn. Oh yeah, I probably could use my synchro ability. That's one of the, in the game you could actually synchro with Crispell, and you can do like a ton of damage, like on a single opponent, or, well, it depends on the attack you're doing, so. I'll just keep doing that. Sorry, it's a bit boring, but it's like, you know, what do you want? Yeah, okay. I was thinking of JKR had a turn before his turn came up. Otherwise, I would just cool into him or pass or whatever. Yeah, let's go and regen or rejuvenate one. I've got plenty of MP. Like I said, I might be a little bit overkill. And the thing is, this isn't even the max level. Technically, if you want to unlock everyone's abilities, CrisTales is like 39, where you unlock her final skill, which, I mean, probably at that point, you'd probably just wreck the boss at this point, you know? Not bad for final boss music, but nothing that really screams out. That's what I was saying about the game. Like, I like the music in this game, but there's really no soundtrack that really, like, screams to me this game, if that makes sense. Like, usually there's always, like, some RPG, there's, like, a track or maybe a lot of tracks that maybe go, oh, man, I want the soundtrack to this, or I'm going to listen to this quite regularly, but, I mean, there probably was a song or two that I probably remember that I liked, but overall, there was not really a track that really, like I really felt that stood out to me personally, if that makes sense. Even the final boss just seems like your typical chorus, you know, ho, ho, ho song, which can be good, like a Sephiroth, but that had, like, you know, Nobu Matsu working on that, and the chorus along with them saying Sephiroth and everything like that, but with Ardo, it's just like, eh. No, sorry, spoilers for Final Fantasy VII, I guess. You know, oh, it's the people. Although Sephiroth was pretty built throughout the whole game. But, yeah, it's going Regius Solarius again. Like I said, the music in the game is not bad. I'm not saying it at all. It's just, oh, whoops, I didn't dodge good enough. Yeah, he basically is casting it. I don't know if, actually, no, I don't think, never mind. I don't think you can actually block that. Okay. Oh, JKR died. Oops. He took too much damage. Yeah, the only bad thing about JKR is his magic resistance stat is pretty piss poor. So, oh well. Not much I can do on that. No, maybe I should have, might just... Did I... Because I think since he just attacked... Actually, let me see if Regio Regress will help me in this case. Give me back my... Healed me, but JKR is full, so we'll just heal. Why not? I thought I was probably gonna have to use at least, like, with his magic synchronization ability or whatever. Since you can't manually block it, that's the... Where's the full heal? There it is. I'm just gonna give him the full heal, even though he probably doesn't even need it. Maybe I could have given JKR. Uh-oh. I hope he's got a timer. Actually, I forgot what his timer actually does in the game. Yeah, they need to... I'm just gonna do it again. I don't care about making it singular or whatever. There we go. And yeah, just keep doing that. I've actually lost count of how much HP. Oh, we beat him. See, there you go. So, all right. Well, let's watch the end of the game. And we should get the best ending because I did all the side quests. So we'll see the best variation on this ending. I don't know if it really changes that much, but...
No. Is this really how it ends?
Matthias, Ardo, please, listen to me. You want to save the Rena. I do too. I just don't want to sacrifice this whole world to do it.
There is no other way. When we make the jump, that world will merge into this one and override it.
You once sent me back in time to stop the Empress, and I merged with the CrisTales of that timeline.
Exactly. Just as I intended.
But when the Empress went back in time, she didn't merge. She survived as a separate being. It created two of us, two CrisTales.
Obviously. She jumped too far back to succeed. The differences between you two over such a long period were far too significant.
But you're trying to move an entire world over 3,000 years through time. can you think it's still going to merge?
Things are different on a planetary scale. With an object this large, there's a much greater range before the desynchronization would cause an issue.
So, if what you're saying is true, if we move the whole Rena civilization far enough into the future, instead of it overriding the existing planet, it would create a new one?
Theoretically, perhaps. As I said though, at that scale, the difference in time would have to be enormous. We can barely control the amount of time energy that's required already. At that scale.
What if you had the most powerful time mage in history helping you control that power?
You expect me to trust my mortal enemy with the fate of my people? Someone I've fought for thousands of years?
No! Forget who we were. Forget the different versions of her, of me, of yourself. Who we are now. That's what matters. You and I. All the time we spent together. The joy, the sorrow, the adventure. It wasn't fake, Matthias, or Ardo, or whatever name you want to go by now. Our friendship was real. I am not your enemy. How could I be? You want proof that humans and Rena can coexist? We're the proof. We've done so much together. Why throw it away now? Please, Matthias. Won't you please believe in me?
It's too much. The amount of energy required is more than any one person can handle. It's impossible. Even for you, Crisbell.
I've done a lot of impossible things recently. Wouldn't you agree?
Additionally, if she dies in the attempt, you will have been proven correct.
Thank you, JKR. I suppose there is that. While I still believe this to be a fool's errand, it is theoretically possible. I'll trust you to surprise me, Crisbell. For old time's sake. The preparations are complete. Let us begin. It's working. Keep it up, Crisbell. Keep going.
What's happening?
Oh, no, no, no! There's too much power! It's getting out of control! We have to stop this! We're going to fail!
No, we're not. I made you a promise.
What happened? Where did she go? Where is Crisbell?
She did it. I can't believe it. She sacrificed herself to complete the jump.
No! Tell me what happened! She said she was going to be okay!
It appears she was incorrect. All that power flowing through her. It's as I said. No one could have survived it.
No!
She was a remarkable woman. It's hard for me to believe it. Now, after so many cycles, this is how our story ends.
I know Kari, and I will never forget her. I'll tell everyone about her. How she saved the whole world.
Shut up, Zaz.
I wonder if that's how religions start. We'll need to come up with a cool name. Maybe matching uniforms?
Shut up, Zaz.
Later, Zaz.
Now, I suppose the only thing that remains is to rejoin my people in this new future. Buki, JKR, Nassar, Paulina. It was your home too. You are all welcome to join me.
The little ones. I can return to care for them?
I can go back to my research.
I believe I will stay here. This world holds many memories for me, and many questions I wish to answer.
Me too. I consider myself fashion forward, but that's a bit too far forward. Besides, look at them. Humans need my help more than the Rena ever did.
As you wish. Please take care, all of you. We actually did it. I'm home. I'm finally home. No. It can't be. It's you.
And that's it for Cris Tales, the best ending. I guess she used all her power and she ended up teleporting or going. She either went to the future, or because of the whole 1,000 years thing, she like she was reborn or recreated or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's Cris Tales. So an RPG inspired by games of old that has like games of time manipulation, and time is a big thing in this whole game. Overall, the game is okay. Yeah, it's okay. And I hate to say that because this game looks like there's a lot of work into it. And a lot of fans of old RPGs put all this work into it. But I just find the game okay. Because I was kind of just... I mean, I played the game and I went through it. But after a certain point, I felt like this game had a lot of... Wait, what's the word? It has a lot of... Not substance is the word I'm trying to look for. Like, it has a lot of... It looks nice and all this other stuff. Like, it has a lot of skin deep stuff, but anything further in you try to look for, like, there's not much else. None of the characters really, I mean, other than hating Zaz a lot, none of the characters really stood out to me that I really liked over the course of the game. Like, they all looked good, but there was never a personality or a character that was like, oh, I like that character. I like following that character around. Because a lot of them were kind of your typical cliche archetypes and stuff like that. Cris Bell was your typical, pure heroine character. Well, for the most part, there was a few instances where they questioned where she did things out of thing, but for the most part, she was the pure-hearted character that almost there was no ambiguity between her and other things, you know, for the most part. At least that's how I felt. Like I said, Christopher is just your typical hot-headed guy who eventually learns to calm down a bit, falls for a girl, which the twist in this game, instead of him falling for Crisbell, he falls for some random character. Okay, she's not random, but one of the characters, let's see if any of the voice actors look familiar. I thought I heard a couple of recognizable voices, but I looked at the credits earlier, and none of them really stood out, so maybe I don't remember voice actors' names as well as I did, because I could have swore I heard a couple of anime voice actors in there that I've heard a few times. And no, the girl wasn't random, it's just, she was part of the plot, but it's just, she wasn't, like, her character design was cool, I guess, but that's it. Like, I don't know, it's just... And it felt like the story was almost on fast forward, really. Like, I felt like we got through a lot of major scenes almost too quickly. Like, certain things were finished, or like patched up like really fast. Like, we did this and boom, on to the next thing. We did this, boom, on to the next thing, despite doing all the side quests and everything. This is like an RPG light. Like, I felt like if they had more time, they would have fleshed it out a bit more, added more stuff in. But for the most part, yeah, it's like a skin-deep game. And like I said before, the music was good. Like, it's not like there was a bad tune in the game. It's just nothing really was memorable enough to stick out. Like, it felt like it was atmospheric for what it needed to be, but nothing that ever was catchy. Like I said, like a Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger. Like, I remember all those, but nostalgia is a big factor in this. Like, if I grew up with this game, maybe I would feel a lot different. Well, thank you for making the game. Even though I'm crapping all over it, I still appreciate they made this. It's just, I think when it comes to RPGs, I'm a bit more, what's the word? I'm a bit more judgmental when it comes to RPGs because of just how often I played them over the years. Now, this is definitely better than some other RPGs I played. I'll tell you that much, because there's been some that have just been straight up boring. So at least with the game mechanic of parrying and deflecting and critting, at least made it to where I wasn't just pressing X the whole time to get through it. It's just, it was more interesting to play the combat sometimes than it was to do the story, you know? And then they had like there was a lot of story twists that happened back to back that almost seemed unnecessary, or they were almost just thrown in the background. They're like, oh, this happened to this character. Oh, but this thing happens now, so let's just forget this thing happened because it came so close together. You know, I don't know if I want to spoil it for those who want to play the game. And like I said, sorry I'm crapping all over this. It's just, I don't hate the game. I just feel like I beat this game. I'll probably never play it again. I'll probably not remember it very well because, like I said, it was kind of forgettable to me. So... and I hope you don't take the people who make this, if they ever watch this, I hope they don't take it to heart. That's just me personally, or people watching this. I hope you don't get too bad for me crapping on this game, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's just a lot of little things just never really peaked up for me. There was never a point in the game where I was like, oh man, that was cool, or that was a good scene, or whatever. I was just more like, oh cool, we're rushing past this basically, or we're getting to the next plot point like really fast. Like, I don't know, just not enough time to like really calm down. I don't know. It's like I said, if maybe they were given more time, maybe it could have been fleshed out a bit more. So good effort, but just not something I'm going to remember years down the line. So I hope the people who made this can make another game. Maybe they improve upon it. Maybe they work on the story a bit more. You know, make more interesting characters or situations or something like that. There were some interesting concepts between like the game mechanics, like the affecting time, you know, in different versions of a creature, and being able to juggle characters between different times. The idea was neat, but like I said, halfway through the game I stopped doing that because I found I could just overpower things. And this was before I level grinded for the trophy stuff, which, as you saw, I 100%ed the trophies on this, as you saw at the end there. So, but I don't know. What do you think about this game? Was this a classic RPG to be added to the list of games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI and Valkyrie Profile, even though I'm probably the only one who remembers those types of games, so I don't know if they're really that classic, at least in modern day gaming. But or is this just a kids growing up with it but not knowing what made those old games great? But for me, I'm just gonna leave this to the side and think about other games instead. So I'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next game.